at usaradio.com. That's usaradio.com. And for USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Inspired by our German artisan roots, Süß Caramel has redefined the art of caramel making. Slow crafted, all natural, and preservative free with uncompromising standards. Cooked gently in small batches to create velvety textures and layers of flavor like no other caramel you've ever experienced. It is our sincere hope that you enjoy each Süß Caramel as much as we enjoy making it for you. I'm Tammy Fahey, and I never tire of hearing how much people enjoy my caramels. Please visit SüßCaramel.com to place your order and to see a listing of stores that carry our amazing caramels.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Hello, and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages as we celebrate everyday people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on what we love to do, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, from kindness to healthy habits and simple happiness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. And I hope you're inspired by today's show. And I want to just connect with you and say, you know, we're living in interesting times. For many people, this is a time of fear and anger and frustration. People worry about getting sick. They're worried about their jobs and the political situation. For others, this is a time of transition to a simpler life filled with opportunity for positive change. There is less worry, more time, less stress, and more connection with others. Our reality is based on our perception of the world. What we perceive and believe, we will achieve. Let me say that again. What we perceive and believe, we will absolutely achieve. And many are awakening to a new perception, a new normal. If we see the glass as half empty, we feel a sense of loss or lack. If we see the glass as half full, we experience a sense of having enough. However, if we see the glass as continuing to be filled by amazing grace, we don't think about the glass at all. We simply do what we're called to do to contribute. And we know, trust, and believe that there will always be plenty. Do what you do because it's the right thing to do, not because of what you will get for it. When you contribute your talent from your heart, you will be rewarded. In my life, I've personally experienced both highs and lows, times of great wealth and times of financial despair. I remember a time as a single mother not knowing where the money was going to come from for, say, the electric bill. Holding the concept that money is love shared, as I paid the bills, I would say thank you in advance for the electricity I was blessed to use and for those who provided the service that I would so easily tap into. When I learned to be open to possibilities and trusted that things would work out better than I ever expected, I would suddenly receive a rebate check for the exact amount I needed, down to the penny. I lived one day, one check, one payment at a time, and I learned to release the need for worry. In the early days of the COVID situation, something similar happened to me. Like most of you, my business slowed down tremendously, which caused me to rethink about what was important to me. It awakened me to a new way of thinking about my business. Staying home during this time made me reconsider my session work, and I decided to focus on my online service, which I'd been doing for many years. Well, here we are, 6 months into the pandemic, and now my business is completely virtual from my home office to your home. My schedule is filled with wonderful clients who really enjoy their home-based sessions, and I have the peace of being able to sit in my gardens between my clients whenever I like. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. So many people have applied the awakening mindset to their lives and transformed their lives into peace and serenity. Many years as a student and facilitator for A Course in Miracles taught me to let go of the illusion, to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Notice what is real in your own world and compare yourself to no one. Find the things that give you joy and be grateful for them. From the majestic trees to the daily sunshine and sunsets, to the joyous chatter of the birds, to the wonderful food we get to eat. We live in a world blessed with beauty, abundance, and joy, and so many opportunities to share our gifts. When we purposefully shift our energy from fear, anger, hate, and blame to kindness, honesty, and understanding, we care for each other and our earth. As we do this, we create vibrational ripples that allow positive energy to be shared with many who have forgotten the importance of personal peace. Let us take just a moment right now to share the gift of love light and gratitude. Pause with me and send thoughts or prayers of light to those who are so troubled that they can only see the fear and negativity pervading our world today. Pause. Send joy. Send hope. Send light. That we hope that their eyes be open for their own good and for all of humanity. And mark your calendar for 9/10. On September 10th at 1 o'clock Eastern, I am offering a free webinar to lift your energy. There will be tips and a guided meditation to help you shift your thoughts to be more positive. You can register at loisherman.com or chroniclesofhope.net. And you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 and 95.3. We're here every Sunday morning and also throughout the week. Also on my YouTube channel. You can get there at bit.ly/Lois Herman YouTube. Anyway, today I am extremely blessed to be joined by an amazingly spiritual woman who has prayed over and for so many people throughout her life. Rose embodies the peaceful energy of the divine. She radiates grace and serenity to all who experience her presence. And I am personally delighted to share her loving energy with you today. Please help me welcome Rose Neves-Grigg. Rose, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, honey.
Oh, good morning.
So much.
Thank you for being here and sharing your light with so many.
Oh, it's such my pleasure.
How are you
So
today?
grateful to be here.
So
I'm doing great.
Awesome. You're always doing great. You always seem to do great. And we're going to hear more about that story in a minute. But I want to tell people, please tell us a little bit about your background and your, the story of how you came to do what you do.
Well, I'm in Massachusetts and originally from Brazil.
Uh-huh.
I was a teacher for many years, teaching public school here, Framingham and Marlborough. I used to be a psychologist, but now I'm doing more spiritual healing, that it is my calling. I grew up with the first vision I had in my life was Mother Mary. I was about 18 months old.
Wow.
I had a a group, and I was born in a farm. So having a group back then, almost all kids died. And I remember me little in this little crib inside this room in a hospital and crying and with my little hands like calling my father that I could see his face through a little window. And I remember like as right now, Mother Mary materialized and like it came so much to like peaceful light and it started forming her face. And she looked at me and said, was telepathy because 18 months I didn't even talk.
Yeah.
She was like, look at inside you and fix it. If you want to stay, you need to fix what is inside and you can stay. That's all I remember. So probably I fixed it. I remember like going inside and was like a machine. It was dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played with something. I was in my mind just like playing.
Mm-hmm.
And a dark oil, like it went through, like it started flowing. And I guess I healed myself. So I'm here. So, and then later on in life, I realized, whoa, that's interesting. Because inside the blood, it is like bluish dark, right?
Right.
And I'm like, so it's memories like this, and later on things like someone sick, I used to cry to see the person, play with the person, like, and then the magic happened. And I grew up with Jesus, like every night going to, I think like I left my body, I went to meet him. And a lot of times, kids, I was complaining and crying, and he was my guide.
He was your friend.
Later on, yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw like a guided things. He was my body. He used to call me little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And until today, I think I didn't grow up. He's still calling me a little girl.
And that's a good
girl.
thing. That's a good thing. Yeah.
So I grew up without. Well, I grew up in a very Catholic family, and then I start something wrong, something's not that, and the way they talk, and then I had another message from the divine. So and things like this, so was building me for me to be doing what I do today. I still don't know what I do. I just love helping people and see the transformation. And like being a psychologist, I remember I had a guy for 5 years. I used to work at his mock behavioral health in Framingham and Marlboro. And I had this guy for about 5 years. And one day he came to me and said, Rose, I'll pay you, but you need to come with me. I want to buy a car, and if I buy red, the police will catch me. If I buy white in the winter, blah, blah, blah. If I buy black, the summer is too hot. And I'm like, that day was like a big boom on me. What I'm doing, because that's not working. If you cannot pick a color for your car, or it is that matters this much, I'm not. I remember talking with my supervisors and, it is like that, and this is normal. No, it's not inside me. And then out of that, everything changed. And I always started change thanks for Michael Hathaway. he started like talking about me to everybody, and it was interesting. Like people would start coming to see me and healing for cancer, for so many illness, finding themselves, awakening, just like removing the veil.
Right.
And I start channeling the Christ consciousness. One time, it's Saint Germain. That's an interesting story. So I moved to America all by myself, very young. I knew that I need to get out of Brazil very young. Nothing wrong. It is just like I don't belong here. My aunt said that one time I was about 3 years old. I was singing around the house. I don't want to stay here. I wanted to go back to Bahia, singing in English. That three little, I'm short, but imagine me, that little pinch. And and I moved here. I didn't know one soul. What was tough? It was interesting because when I moved here, I had already my bachelor's degree, and I was a teacher. I worked to the hospitals in Brazil as a social worker, and I came here, and the experience was like, and then I started being very grateful for everything.
Exactly.
And people, you're so happy. How can you be happy? You should be miserable. And I said, I am so happy. I don't know why. But I always seen I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I raised my kids, got my master's degree. And life, I always question what I'm here for. Why I'm here and not at home with my family. And then Saint Germain came to me and he said, I used to be very close friends with St. Francis. And then later on became Saint Germain. And I said, oh, you guys change a lot. We joke. I never grow up with the divine. It is like someone in this pedestal and I'm here, lower. It was always like bodies, not in a disrespect way, because the way, if your mind, it is very in religion and things, is like you got to be so respectful, like we are nothing. And the way the divine always show it to me, we are one. So, and he said, I brought you over here because your work is here. And then right away, I was like, well, if my work is here, Rose talks a lot and back. I'll tell you why. And because you were born in Brazil because you need to learn the heart. Like Brazil, everything is deep in the heart. And in America, it is more in the mind.
Right.
So, and here, sometimes I see brilliant people. They do things because it's everything right, but they haven't connected the mind with the heart.
That's right. Yeah.
So it is like not in a bad way anything, because here, especially the area we are, it develops a lot your cognitive. It develops your understand, your knowledge. So you do things almost mechanic, and then it is like bring it to the heart. And Jesus is 2010, I think. He brought in the Christ consciousness candles and what it is, wish to peace develop illusion, to help people to awakening. So all that, it makes me so happy to bring that and to help people to find themselves. As I was saying to you, why I talk back a lot, Jesus always said, everything we tell you, if you don't understand, you ask. Everything, if you have an insight from the divine, like for anyone that is listening, and don't deny, because a lot of people, the first thing, I don't deserve that. And that's the greatest difficulty the divine has it. It is like today, you talk to your child, please don't do this. Oh, do this and things. They don't listen to you. And then later on, oh, Mom, I should have listened to you. But we have embedded, I like to say, we have imprinted in ourselves that I'm not good enough. Like God will never talk to me. Do you think Jesus will come to me? And that's our mistake. Because if you think, I am the daughter, I'm created of the divine, why the divine is not closer to me? Why I'm so bad? It is like how many people is traumatized today because the parents work so hard, doesn't have time to the kids, give everything to the kids' needs, material, but doesn't give the affection. And religion creates that on us. You
And
do
religion is
everything here, but
a lot of
you
religion is
cannot be.
based on guilt and shame. A lot of the traditional religions, and that's a very low level energy. And
At the
I
same.
totally relate to what you're saying, Rose, because Jesus comes to many of my clients when they go into trance and when they are allowing themselves to tap into that higher realm, they get answers. And many of them have that feeling of not being good enough. And if we can shift into what if I was good enough, into that hopeful space, then we can hear them. And you're absolutely right. One of the most important things we need to do is ask, to get clarification, to get, when we get that
Yes.
inkling, we need to be able to ask and listen. That's the other piece. Many people, when they go, that have been taught to pray, praying for them is all about pushing things out. And the most important thing is to sit back and listen to the answers, because they're there. We just have to take the time to pause and listen to receive it. We are a two-way transmitter here. And if we're always just pushing out, we don't really receive. So life is a balance, and energy reception is a balance as well. And I just wanted to let the listeners know that you are listening to Inspiring Hope at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. And today I'm here speaking with Rose Neves-Grigg, who is an amazing spiritual healer and connects with the divine. And I wanted to also share with you, Rose, we talked about this earlier. In the book that I've recently published, Chronicles of Hope, Jesus came in one of the sessions and implored me to get his messages out there. And you know, in the book, he's very sad in that physical realm.
Yeah.
But when he comes to me or to my clients, he is joyful, gleeful, and even the archangels. There's a lot of spiritual just glee. They say we take ourselves too seriously. We need to lighten up. And one of the things that, I asked, why me? Because like you said, there's always a part of us that doesn't feel worthy. Who am I? And because I have a distinct recall of being there at the time of Jesus. You and I both are hypnotists, and we do a lot of past life work. So I know that I was there, which is also part of why I don't like to go into churches with crucifixes, because it really upsets me viscerally. But he said to me, you always danced and played and had flowers in your hair, and you embody the energy of youth. Too many people take things too seriously. So I remember being a child when I was around Jesus, and he was just so effusive and so loving, and so, he and Mary were just they just embodied grace, and you just wanted to be there and laugh. And so that's when you're talking about you have this little girl mindset. That's exactly what Jesus is telling me. Stay that little girl. Don't get caught up in the drama. Stay in that little girl, inquisitive, curious, awe-inspiring mindset. And that's how I see you as well, Rose, that you embody that youthful, sprightly spirit, if you will, right?
Totally, because religion creates in our mind separation from our divine side.
Yes.
Separation from God. And today you can see people that is not prepared for the transition, and the panicking and the fear. We need right now to trust, because we single one of us, if you have done anything in your life that you feel guilt and you cannot forgive yourself, this is a huge illusion. Mm-hmm. I ask that to people all the time. Who's your worst enemy? Well, I think it is my husband, my baba. Who it is? It's yourself.
That's right.
Set yourself free, because if we think right now, we are the best history of mankind, of our planet, Mother Earth, because Atlanteans, when it was the flood and went down, so the Atlanteans is still in the fight, trying to play with our DNA, blah, blah, blah. Jesus came to wake us up the heart, the love. When we are in the heart, we have everything. Because if I tell my life to people, they say, what? Everywhere I go and I meet people there, I want to be like you, Rose. I want to have your life. Yeah, don't come too close. It's the way we see life.
That's right.
If we see life, I'm a victim. Everybody is hurting me, hating me, and blah, blah, blah. So be it.
Mm-hmm.
We are co-creators of our reality. Right now, if you don't have any faith in God, then it's all good. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Trust that a good will come out of that. That's your faith.
Absolutely.
To go in your heart and feel what do we need right now, connect and ground in the physical body. Because a lot of people, because of the fear, what they do, separate. And then comes the huge anxiety. They separate from reality. And the avoidance, it can co-create a monster. So be inside your heart and trust and forgive whatever happened. Because one thing that I love is people is always victim of the parents. Because if you wasn't this and that, well, let me tell you a good and bad news. You chose your parents. When we come to the earth school, we choose the school we're going to go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're going to go to college or go to a first grade. Okay, we're going to move to this town with the better school, or that's the school it is. So you choose. Yeah, some spirits cannot choose because they are so sleeping for babies that they're going to do the back to school, the divine. But that is another whole other story. But
that is a whole other story. And we don't necessarily choose that. We choose them often because of the lessons we need to learn or to prepare us for the message, for the mission that we're here. So they're there as teachers, as not necessarily, not necessarily positive. They could be challenging teachers, but sometimes those teachers cause us to grow in different ways. So the parents that we choose are catalysts to help us to grow into what we are supposed to do, correct?
Totally. If we start understanding what do I need to learn from the experience I have.
Right.
Because one thing today, parents, we have the idea they know everything. But if we start understanding, they have gave it to us, everything they had. Well, but my mom gave it to me 5% of love.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she had. How many mothers, as a child, but it's not mature, it doesn't have all around to give the child exact what the child needs.
If they don't have it, they can't give it. Exactly. So that's part of.
And they don't know.
No, they don't know.
And a lot of times, like today, I was teaching at Potter Road School, second grade, and I had a child. And we keep, like the nurse, the principal, myself, we send messages to the mother that we need to talk with the mother. And the mother sends me a letter. I still have it. I'm going to tell you your job, because my job is to put a food on the table and clothes in the closet for my kids, and you better do your job. I have no need to go to school, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how far from reality to you?
Mm-hmm.
Because we learn. We cannot judge people because we are doing our best. Everything you do every day, oh, that happened, I'm going to go do to fix. So when we start learning that, we start going more in the heart and accepting and loving everyone the way they are. And then we are really transitioning and growing in the biggest consciousness, like going deeply into the Christ consciousness. Because when we are in this Christ consciousness, we are in bliss. It's so cool.
We
live like Rose and Louis, just like two little girls.
That's right. That's right.
And happy and going through. Because one time Jesus told me I was in deep darkness. And then Jesus, hey, little girl, this is just an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we pick a fight. You want to tell me every day I'm going here it is an illusion? Yes. It took me a few years to understand And now I say, like, when you go to school, I always love to explain as a school. The classroom you're having, it doesn't determine your whole life.
Right.
That was an experience. So, but if you hold that so dear to your heart, and the rest of your life, it is all about that experience you have in the classroom, it never go nowhere. Some people, it is stuck as 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You can see some people, they still 6 years old, they still dress, their hair, everything is still back on a teenager. They don't evolve.
Well,
they're still in there.
The classroom is there for us to learn, and when we learn the lesson, then we can move on to the next lesson or the next state of consciousness.
Exactly.
But so many people get stuck in the pain, and they don't move beyond, and therefore they've not opened their heart and mind to the lesson. When you get it, it's like, okay, and now there may be another class to see, did you really learn the lesson? And then you go through that experience. And at that point, you go through faster and say, got it. Okay, now I'm good with that. Let's move on to the next level. Correct?
One thing I don't like, because when you see it like that, you see it as a victim. And you don't progress, you don't grow.
Exactly.
You start living, and it is being 10 years, 20 years, and it's lack of self-love.
And many people never get beyond it. They go for their whole lifetime in that victim mindset of anger, hate, and blame. And when the reality is it's all your perception. If you just take that glass and turn it and look a little differently, you can see, okay, now let me look at it through different eyes. Now I can make a new choice. I'm empowered to make a new choice about what I'm thinking.
Because my life, it is always like I get this beautiful bouquet of roses. And then right there, it is like a big hot bucket of water is thrown in. And then, oh my God, I lost it again. And then you go, and it is like, how many more buckets of hot water I'm going to get it? And guess the smart answer of my friend, as many as needed. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, thank you. So, and some people think, oh, you were connected with the divine and things. Like today I woke up with I love her, Mary Magdalene.
Yes.
Oh my God, the energy. One thing, guys, sometimes if you feel emotional, just think about it, how the divine is feeling with all this struggle we are going through right now.
Yes. They're confused and perplexed. Yes. Yeah.
When sometimes I start talking with someone and my husband say, why everybody comes to you, you make them cry?
Yes.
Especially when I'm in a show or something. And I'm like, because the divine touched their heart. Mm-hmm. He unlocked.
Right.
Yesterday, I had a client here with her prince. It's the cutest, loving baby ever. And he's acting up and things. And it is like, it was brilliant. It is like, Rose, you're so good. No, my friends are good. Because the way Mother Mary turned around and it reached his heart. You know that moment that Rose gets in tears to see how pure is the love the divine has for everything in this planet.
Absolutely.
It's not just us, the animals, the trees, your house, even your computer, your iPhone, everything's precious. And when it touched this boy's heart, and he's like, yeah, I'm act like this because I don't know how was the question. I always forget questions. It was something like, I don't remember exactly, but he said it. Yeah, I don't forgive my daddy. Mm. And look at that. And it is like, when we touch the heart, miracles happen.
Yes.
And when we are aligned in the heart, all the illusions we have, we cope a lot. We try to get the material side to cover up our pain and illusions. Nobody do anything wrong. Only thing I see, for me, it's a better way to explain. We're being programmed wrongly.
Yes.
We're being programmed in this lifetime. God is all the way above that. You're a sinner. You're a bad person. Down here, be careful, the evil is catch you. And all that, we're never being told the truth, what we are doing here. What is this all about? We're here to learn the emotions, to get mature, our spirit, so we become an angel tomorrow. Every day we are growing to become perfect. And the only way is to being in the heart. Like, you don't understand what's going on earth right now. I hate this, I hate that, it is a fate. Whatever it is in your mind, check in with you. No one can lie and trick you in your heart.
Right. And we,
Even
as you
if
said,
you don't-
people are programmed, and they're programmed by the media, by the things that they are
Yeah.
watching, by our parents' beliefs. Our parents' beliefs transcend, and they train the youth. And it takes courage to step out of those old programmed beliefs and question. It's not about, I know this.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about, I question this. Let me think about this. Let me have my own thoughts. Let me explore in my own way. And when we question the supposed truths that we've been taught, it's like people were taught that the world was flat until people questioned it. And then they see, it really isn't. So question a lot of what you're being programmed to believe, because there's a lot of other beliefs out there, and find what resonates in your heart, the truth that resonates with you.
Yeah, because I grew up alone. I have a lot of huge family. And we all, that Brazilian, Italian family, everybody's in the top of each other. That's how I grew up.
Okay.
So every Sunday we used to go to my grandmother's house, and she had 11 kids. It was like, I don't know, I think it was about 40 grandbabies, a lot of the big family.
Yes.
So what do you do in a family like that? A lot of us, you try to fit in. You try to look good, and you try to be a follower.
Right.
So my family is that. And guess what? Rose became the black sheep.
Yep.
So my grandmother, one day, she spanked me because I was in church with her, and the priest was like, oh, God won't forgive you, God doesn't forgive, blah, blah, blah. And I remember pulling her arm and telling her, very, very stupid, that he's lying, Grandma. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Then I remember, like, she just pushed my arm and, shut up. And very polite. And I'm, but he's, because Jesus told me that God forgive us 77 times 7. And she, don't you ever say that, because if you do bad, God will never forgive you. And like in my mind, Jesus was explaining how I was about 8. And I always, one thing that everybody, we have one addiction in life. Mine is books, pencils, and like if I have collected, it's pens. And that age, I used to sharpen my pencils every day, coloring pencils. I had a wooden box. I don't know if you had that.
Yes.
Back in the days, that I put in my eraser, everything in there. And if my brother or my sister touched it, the older ones, we would pick a fight. So, and I remember one day I don't know what. I remember crying and asked God to forgive me because my mom won't forgive me. I don't know what I did. And Jesus came, and he's like, hey, little girl, why are you crying? And I explained, I put God to forgive me. He said, oh, honey, God won't forgive you. No, God doesn't forgive. And he disappeared. And And then I cried, and in my mind it is, I'm going to walk around the family on the street. Everybody's going to see me black, like I'm the worst, like the evil something. And in my mind, Jesus came back 2 days later, but I don't think he would have come back that long. He left me there crying. And then, that was like in the 70s. Jesus opened like a flat screen TV, but we never thought about that would exist. But he opened like a screen, and I was looking. My little brother, he's adorable. I used to be his babysitter. Probably he was, I don't know, less than a year old. He grabbed my bag with my books, put it on the top of my bed, opened my wooden box with my coloring pencils, and I remember to see his eyes and his heart. He was so happy. Back in the days, we didn't have so many colorful things as we do today, especially in Brazil. And he was looking the colors. I had just 12 colored pencils. And he was like, looking into that. And I was feeling that joy that he's discovering something.
Right.
And then Jesus turned it off and looked at me and said, are you going to forgive him? And I was in that joy. I looked at Jesus and forgive about what?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then he shook his head. I was like through telepathy.
Yeah.
And he said, you got it. This is God.
Yeah.
God doesn't judge.
We judge ourselves.
God is pure love. Yeah.
And the
God
forgiveness needs
love.
to be for self, because that's what happens. So many people, they might forgive others, but they have a hard time forgiving self. And to our listeners, you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. We're here every Sunday morning bringing hope and inspiring people to share their stories with you so that you can find the joy in your heart, in your life, so that you can be inspired to live the best life you can live. So yes, there's amazing stories of those that come through and give us joy, give us messages. And Rose, what do you recommend to people to stay uplifted in this crazy time? Do you have any suggestions for people to stay positive and uplifted?
Right now, think about who you are. First thing you're going to say, oh, I'm a doctor. I am this, I am that. No, who you are. Oh, I'm a mother. I'm a husband. I'm this. Go deep and see who you are. I'm someone that has tried my best in this life. I'm someone that I'm not perfect. I have done this and this wrong. I recognize. I ask the divine, the person, you don't need to face anybody. Right now you're looking at like, oh, I did this to my cousin one day and that was very wrong. Go in meditation. Bring that in front of you in your mind, that person, and from your heart, because we are energy. We are spirit. And when we talk like that, it doesn't need to be in person. It's miracle right there. Ask for forgiveness to this person. And then take deep breath in. Go in your heart. And love yourself. Love yourself naked. And you start sharing love with everybody. Everything that you can do to help. Like what I love about the COVID, because everybody before, we all was like a robot. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to make ends meet. And like machines, we lost that energy of human contact, that love, family. We lost that. Right now, go back into that. Have time with your child. A lot of people think because I do this and this, I'm being a good parent. Have time, good time. Take phones away and talk. Play a card game. Walk with Mother Earth, especially us that live here on the north, that it is very, the winter is rushed. Enjoy this time. Connect with Mother Earth. Go outside. Hug a tree. May sound crazy, but you exchange the energy. Ask the Mother Nature, the tree, to give you strength. Take away all the anxiety from your physical body, your mind, so you start grounding yourself. And then you have energy, because we are the most powerful beings ever. So you regenerate the energy within yourself, and then you start finding grounded, feeling secure, and not in fear or desperate. And then you start feeling that love within yourself. When you feel that love within yourself, you emanated the greatest energy on earth. But always start within you. Don't worry about out there. Oh, but the news said, run. Check with yourself and trust. If you have faith, go in your faith. Every divine being, they all the same. Oh, I need to to be hooked with Jesus or something. No. Muhammad, whatever you grow up with, and if you're not, I just believe in angels. No matter who, they all one. We are one. They all here to help you. And when you feel something, a message, trust. Never, ever, the divine won't accept that. Put yourself less. Put yourself, I'm not worth it. I got this message, but I'm not worth it. Never do that to yourself, honey. Love you no matter what, because you exactly perfect the way you are. And we all need you, the divine Mother Earth. We are all one. Trust in yourself. Go into meditation if you don't know how. Just try to breathe. When you breathe, try to bring your breath, the air, all the way below your belly button. I say that all the time. And exhale very slowly. And that, you are reconnecting back with the divine, that who you are. Because the breath is life. So right now, don't panic. We are in a better time than when Christ walked on earth. We are in a transition, and you trust you're part of it. And you're so needed. But align and faith in yourself. Because you believe in you believe in God. You believe in God, guess what? The road is small. You can do whatever you want. And my life, it is out of faith. I have every day a door closed, it is closed, and I'm very slow. Okay, I have this exit door. I have this exit door. So, and it's life, it is a joy. It is a joy. When you are in your heart, you take this with so much just joy and love.
And you're so right, Rose. It's that meditative state that we get ourselves into, that allows us to tap into who we truly are, deeply our spiritual being. And I know for myself, I lead a very busy life. I find that the best way for me to meditate is in that early morning before I get out of bed, that first 5 minutes before I even open my eyes. I set my intention for the day, and I step into that meditative state, because that's, in you and I both know, that's a trance state. At that point, you're in that twilight. You're basically in your theta state. So therefore, that's when you can actually hear the messages of the divine. And if you start your day that way, if you commit to yourself, before I brush my teeth, I will meditate, I will tap in, I will get my own personal energy boost from the divine source, then that sets the intention for the day. And as you go through the day, if something shakes your world, which there's a lot of shaking going on, step away from it. You do not have to engage with it. Step away, tap back into what is my reality. That might be their reality based on what's going on in their world. And everyone shifts in their own time and space, and time is relative only to that person. So as we allow ourselves to stay grounded with our Blessed Mother Earth and our faith to guide us, and other inspiring people to support and encourage us on our way, we can stay in that state of grace and hope and inspired thought to be able to reach out and share with others, because we are a community. We are not in this alone, and as we share and support one another, we make a difference collectively. And I want to actually ask Rose, how can people find you? Is there a website? How do people find you to continue a connection with you?
Unfortunately, my website is down now, but you can connect with me. You can text me at 508-254-2909.
Thank you.
508-254-2909. It is right now through text. That's how it's the best way right now.
Okay.
And one thing I want to...
You also have a Facebook page, too, do you not? You're fairly active on Facebook, because I know you do guided meditations and things like that, even on Facebook. Yes. So if you're a Facebooker, you can find Rose there as well.
Yeah, and one thing Jesus always said, the knowledge, the knowing will set you free.
Yes.
And we are in the apocalypse time.
Yes.
So the truth are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So it is our right. We need to do our self-investigation. Start checking what it is true, what it is not, what's going on, what it needs to come out. So earth, us, could be free.
Mm-hmm.
So, and check within yourself. If that resonates with you, and you start sending energy for more the truth comes out, so we can be free. Because I cannot be free and happy if all around me is free and happy. Because we live in a world that it is like a small percentage, even in families. Oh, I have this uncle that has those $1 million. I have this one that is trying to have dinner on the table. So what kind of God is that allow us to be so separate? I always ask the question, the divine, this is not God. This is the world and the law you're living in. But the truth is coming that will set you free. So we will come into a time, the best time on earth, that we will see things that is very hard in a lot of minds today to believe. But if you believe in your heart that we are all meant to be happy and we are all precious exactly the way we are, independent of race, color, height, and then you're believing in a new earth that is coming. You're believing that the knowledge we acquiring now, that we are understanding now, is setting all free. So open your mind and accept the new. It's very hard because me being open-minded, crazy the way I am, when I start seeing the truth, naked truth, like in 3D, it took me a while to digest. I got sick. So imagine for someone that is not really prepared for now. But if go within yourself, we are all here to hold you. We are all here to hold you, guide you, and help you the best we can with your highest self, to help you to find belonging, to find grounded, and take away the despair and bring you into love, into your heart.
And that is so true, Rose. There are so many, I'm finding, as much as I'm finding on YouTube and on the news, there's a lot of negativity out there. There's also a lot of wonderfully inspiring people. And what you want to do is ally with the inspiring people. I know that we have this show every Sunday morning with amazing people like you on it, Rose. And then I also have a Chronicles of Hope or Inspiring Hope community, and we meet every second and fourth Thursday, and you can get there at chroniclesofhope.net community. And Rose, I am delighted to have you on the show. We're going to have you back. So I would like to know if you have a favorite quote to close the show with. What is your favorite quote?
This quote was passed to me by the divine, that all the answers we seek in life are within. It is from within we find peace.
Absolutely.
If you start just thinking about that, it's from within, I will find peace. Start digging.
Thank you, Rose.
Because all the answers we look at is within ourselves.
Thank you. So we're bringing the show to a close. Thank all of you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Meanwhile, look up, stay positive,
Thank you
and
so much.
be the light in someone's day. Until next week, thank you, Rose. Thank you, listeners.
Blessings to you, Louis.
God bless.
Blessings to you all.
Yesterday, 26 Republicans joined all Democrats to pass the bill. It comes after Postmaster General Louis DeJoy made drastic cost-cutting changes. The president's promising he'll veto the measure if it reaches his desk, which it probably won't because the Senate says it won't take up the bill. And this is USA Radio.